So I've been playing some ranked in Hearthstone. I decided to make a little video about this deck I've been using. Let's go here. As you can see, I made it to 1-star master so far with a priest deck. Go have a look. Now I actually modified this deck when I was in platinum maybe, but this is about the basic stuff you need. The nice thing about this deck is it's relatively cheap to craft. The only things you need to craft are the Blade Masters. That's going to be 200 dust. A Temple Enforcer, that's 40. And 2 Interfires, that's another 40. So a total of 320 dust to create this deck. Everything else you should have by the time you reach level 10. It's generally just standard priest deck stuff. If you don't have the injured Blade Masters, this deck will be a lot weaker. They're extremely strong with the priest toolkit. I mean, your ability to heal them, coupled with like Voodoo Doctors, Northshire Cleric, makes it a lot stronger. This deck, to really shine, you want to try and get Northshire Cleric or Powered Shield, preferably both. Shadowward Pain and Holy Smite. These are the cards you're going to look for early. You want to try and keep the board clear early while getting out like a Northshire Cleric. Novice Engineer is not bad either. And this is aimed at the lower rankings. Once you get up into Masters, you're going to have a lot more problem with this deck. Things like Holy Nova are kind of like a band-aid. The biggest thing that's going to take you out with this deck are Zergs, like Murlocs. They're gonna crush your guys early. You're not going to get your heals off. And Holy Nova can be a nice band-aid, but as you notice, there's no spell power cards in here. Dealing 2 damage to all enemies, it might not be enough. But when you're at lower rankings, you're not going to encounter some of these like tough decks. It's generally not so bad. But this deck, it really works on healing, is what you're going to get a lot of use out of your heal. The injured Blade Master is what makes it work. And his Battlecry deals 4 damage to himself, which seems really crappy. But when you consider that you get a 4/3 for 3 mana that you can heal, it makes it really nice. Especially if you have a turn 4, you drop him, you instantly Voodoo Doctor him. Especially if you have a Cleric out already. You can get a lot of work out of these guys, especially considering if you get 1 heal on them and they're a 4/5, you can take out pretty much anything that was laid before turn 4. The other big worker you have is the Gurushabi Berserker. This one's pretty obvious. You hit a guy, you gain 3 damage. You just keep pumping these guys up while you heal them so they stay big. These guys are a little bit more susceptible to a couple things. If they're silenced, they're going to lose all their attack. And the Injured Blade Master is static 4 damage. The nice thing about this is it totally negates the pre-spells. Shadowward Death is 5 or more, Shadowward Pain's 3 or less. So these guys are a really nice mid-game character to carry you. If you can keep control in the mid-game, you have your mind controls after turn 8, and that prevents the other person from laying down something big. You take it, you should be able to steamroll a win. One big drawback of this deck is that you see I have no silence, and that can be a big risk. But again, this is aimed at lower rankings, and you should just really be able to cruise through. But if you need to, you have a couple choices. You can actually interfere an enemy. If they have his attack buffed way up and you can get his health down a little bit, you can interfere him to drop his attack down. It's obviously not ideal at all. But again, if they have a lot of attack, you have Shadowward Death, and you have mind control. It's pretty good control. You're a little bit weak against some of the Zerg decks, but again, this is aimed at early on. You should really be able to get to Platinum with this deck. Now, if you don't have the Injured Blade Masters, and I really suggest crafting them if you're going to go with this deck, there's a couple other things you could get. You could double up on the Shattered Sun Cleric, and really what you're looking for here is other cards that you can get use out of your heal, especially when you couple your heal with the Northshire Cleric. So you can, you get use out of your hero ability plus a card draw from it. That's really where this build shines. And if you want to change it up, you could get rid of the Voodoo Doctors for like a Swamp Ooze or a Owl for the silence. And you could drop the Novice Engineers too. But this deck is pretty straightforward, and it's quite strong all the way up until, I would say, Platinum. So yeah, give it a try. You should be able to cruise through, get your ranks up, get your feet wet, and ranked.